Hey, what's going on, guys? Tim Loy here, 0 Hour, joined by Jeff Hobbs, Torres Finney. We should have Justin Watson popping in here shortly, and a special episode of the 0 Hour. We're here to recap Aries 4, which went down this past Friday from the world famous Cotton Eye Joe. And man, a lot of fun. We had two title fights. We're supposed to have three. We pushed off the 170 title fight to Aries 5 next month, so that'll still go down. But still a great night of fights, man. Thought we'd do a recap show here, not put it on the main episode this weekend, so it's not super, or this week, so it's not super long. But if you want to catch the replay, you still can over at combatcast.tv. It's up on demand. We'll start putting that stuff up on YouTube here over the next week as well. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, and you'll get notified when we post new content. We'll be posting the Aries 3 fights starting probably tomorrow, I guess. So look for one or two of those to go up each day. Lots of those were wars. You'll see the David Robbins versus Trevor Peak fight and all that good stuff will be up on our YouTube channel. So give us a subscribe, give us a like. That really helps us out. Let's get to it, guys. We had 11 bouts, and we started off with grappling. It was Andrew Havener and Dustin Garrett. And Andrew Havener got Dustin out of there with a head and arm choke about 2.5 minutes in. It was working for Kimura a little bit earlier and wasn't able to get it, and finally got the head and arm choke. So always good to see Havener. He was ready to crack a cold one immediately after. The nice guys are always there to pregame before, and so he held off a little bit on this one until after the first bout anyway, and then he dug in. So congrats to Havener. Always good to see those guys. Appreciate Dustin Garrett stepping in as well and giving us a little something to open the show. After that, we had the juniors K1 fight. Man, these ladies really brought it. It was Hannah Tucker from Ben Kiker's United Karate Studios, defeating Team NKI Summer Emerson, who was in on about 48 hours notice. Props to her for stepping up. Round 2, TKO stoppage. Referee Chad Washburn stepped in about 53 seconds into that bout, called it off. Never drank. One long continuous combination from Hannah Tucker. She did not stop throwing and coming forward. And so it's kind of like an accumulation, I guess, of unanswered punches caused the stoppage. It seemed like Summer was fine afterward, but these girls are young, and I guess Chad didn't want to risk any injury. Jeff, we thought this one would be fireworks, and it definitely was, and good chance we're going to see both of these ladies back at Aries 5, Aries 5 taking on other competitors. The original fight we're hoping to make Hannah Tucker, Sarah Hatfield happen again, of course.
Yeah, kind of on this one, I anticipated fireworks, and I'll go ahead and just I'll admit, after seeing both girls at weigh-ins, then I kind of swayed the other way because both looked just so shy and timid and so unassuming. I didn't know what we were getting at that point, and so I was swung the other way once that bell rang. And Tucker came forward, and like you said, it was just a nonstop, barrage of volume. So yeah, it was ebbs and flows for me, man. I knew this one, or I felt that this was going to be fire. Then I saw the girls and thought, oh my gosh, these girls are so small, so timid. They were so just quiet and polite, and at weigh-in. So I thought, okay, it's not going to be as wild as I had anticipated, and then both these girls just came out swinging, and like you said though, the referee Chad Washburn just he understood when he went in and he told me too. He's like, Jeff, the girls are like 15. He said, I want them to be able to come back and do this again. So not going to let too much damage go. So, and it obviously it worked because now we'll get to see them both again.
No doubt. I think I love seeing these young ladies get in there so early because hopefully they'll stick around and do MMA for us once they're 18 years old. And now we have like this random crop of like 4 105-pound teenage girls to put on and mix and match there. So that's definitely pretty cool. Let's see. Moving on, we had another movie. This is our first Muay Thai fight, 145 pounds. It was Carson Heidel versus Tripp Hallman, and Carson Heidel gets the win. 1 minute and 50 seconds into the first round, TKO stoppage by referee Caleb Miller. and he gets the win over Tripp Hallman. Moves to 1-1 now. Came in 0-1. That was Tripp Hallman's debut in Muay Thai. Both Torres, I'll go to you on this one. Both these guys had their moments. I think Tripp landed a couple pretty good shots, but there was one moment about a minute in that I recall. There was a shot that Carson landed that really seemed to kind of affect Tripp, and that from there, it seemed like he was kind of just in reaction mode for the last minute. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think I do surely remember that moment. I think it was that left hook. I think Carson had caught Tripp with. But yeah, I mean, it's just the way Carson came out, man. He came out hard on Tripp.
Yeah.
I think that like caught Tripp off guard. But once they got in the groove, they both were landing shots back and forth. Especially, after Tripp had got knocked down, and he made the count. Then he came back and stumbled Carson.
Yeah.
But then that exchange, he got caught with a hook, and it hurt him, man. And Carson just got the best of him, man. So excited to see these guys back. Has Carson fought MMA before?
No, I think he is going to be moving towards MMA, though. I had spoke to his coach, and honestly, we were considering doing MMA this time had we figured out the right situation. But I'd say next time there's a good chance we will see him in MMA, and he's kind of more built for that, it looks like.
Yeah. I suspect MMA as well with Carson. So yes.
All right, congrats to Carson there. Always a pleasure hosting Tripp as well. He's always really easy to work with. And we'll see what's next for both of these guys. Moving on, it was our next Muay Thai bout, another featherweight bout at 145. We went to the decision for the first time on this one. I had a feeling we would. Kyle Pacini out of Bond Muay Thai looked great out there. He was making his Thai debut. He had an MMA fight already against Justin Jamar we talked about last week where he lost the decision, but that not too much shame in that. He looked great out there. Really nice, crisp kicks as he gets the win in this win by unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board over Juggernaut Boxing, Triple Crown MMA's Larry Thorpe, who showed a lot of toughness. Honestly, I mean, he took some body kicks, a lot of body kicks, and never wilted, man. He was there for it the whole time. So good experience, good ring time for him. I thought Pacini was very crisp, very technical, very good traditional Muay Thai, and gets a win, moves to 1-0. Larry Thorpe drops to 0-1. But Larry's another guy I think will be an MMA guy, eventually. So and whereas Pacini is definitely, you can tell his style is dedicated to Muay Thai. Justin, your thoughts? I'll go to you on this one since we had a decision. It was pretty cut and dry. No, not really a whole lot of not a lot to argue here.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't. The rounds were pretty decisive, but Larry Thorpe, like you said, he was throwing back and taking everything that Pacini was bringing to him. But ultimately, Pacini just brought it. Everything was on point. He was super technical, really crisp. Those kicks were just nasty. He was eating the body up. Larry Thorpe was dead. So that was a good fight. I'd like to see both those guys in MMA. I know Pacini, fought Jamar, like you said, but I'd like to see him come back and get another MMA fight as well.
For sure. We did move to MMA from there, and it was a 180-pound catchweight fight with a nearly 10-pound weight differential here as Dan Garrett took on Caleb Holt. Originally going to be a 165 fight. The COVID got a hold of Caleb after Aries 3, so he wasn't able to get down, very low. So he came in at 180. Dan came in at about Jeff was like 169 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was quite a good gap. And we were like, oh man, it's gonna be tough. But to Dan Garrett's credit, he survived an early guillotine, standing guillotine attempt from Caleb, and got a nice throw, and quickly got the tap. 48 seconds into the first round, Dan Garrett defeats Caleb Holt by submission. We'll go to Jeff. This is one of those where it's like you hate to see the guy lose, but you're real happy to see one of them get a win.
Yeah, exactly. Both guys are really cool dudes, man, and really good friends of the promotion as far as like just willing to always step in and fill gaps and hell, work even set up cage, things like that if the need arises. So hate that someone has to lose this fight, but you can't help but feel great for the guy who wins it, and just happened to be old man Dan. this time.
Dan goes to 2-1 now. On the other side of 500. Congrats to Dan Garrett. I'd say he'll be going back down to 155 here if he gives it another go. Rounding out the prelims here, it was welterweight MMA action, 170 pounds, as Lucas Cox from Agogi Combatives down in Chattanooga got the win once again over Logan Metters, who was making his debut out of Lawrenceburg. Round one submission by rear naked choke, 1 minute 33 seconds in. Lucas Cox moves to 2-0. Logan Metters falls to 0-1. And nice showing for Lucas Cox. I'll go to Torres on this one. I thought Lucas showed more striking in this one. You know, in his debut against JP Van Meter, it was kind of more of that grind, just kind of that grueling pace. But he kind of really showed off his striking here. He's still got some takedowns too, but ultimately finishes it with a submission over a tough Logan Metters. I thought Metters was game, and we threw him in there with a pretty tough dude for his debut. I would definitely like to see him back as well. But as for Lucas, I'll throw this out there into the ether here. I talked to Jeff about it because I was just sitting there with him when it happened. But Dustin Bailey was watching along at home on the pay-per-view, and he said that if for any reason that Richard Guerrero were to fall out of this rescheduled title fight, that he would love for Lucas Cox to step to him for that Aries title. Torres, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. Lucas looked really solid, man. He was really exciting to watch. The way he started off the fight, I will say, man, when both guys got in the cage, man, you saw a big time size differential. Lucas was bigger than Logan, but man, Logan did get one takedown. Logan Metters, he got a takedown. He went in there against a tough.
Got to make your first fight against it.
A first fight because, like I was saying on the broadcast, Lucas' first fight was against JT Van Meter, and that fight was grueling and was just tough. So for Logan to go in there, for now Lucas to have a second fight, and for Logan to go in there and that be his first, that was gonna be a tough outing. But man, Lucas really did perform. Man, he did show more of his striking, lots of really good strikes, a lot of strikes and combinations, man. And Lucas looked really good, man. And that would be really one of those exciting fights to watch, man, to see Lucas go against a guy like Dustin Bailey, anything like that. But I would like to see some different guys go against Lucas. So, but hopefully, more than likely, Richard will be there to be in the cage with Dustin Bailey when time comes. But yeah, big time props to Lucas.
Most
Not
definitely.
to mention, Tim, think about it, Tim. I mean, even sometimes in these losses, if you go back and now look at Meters versus Van
Meter?
Van Meter. No, yeah. I'm talking Logan Meters versus Van Meter.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Two losers, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a pretty good fight right there as well. Taking two 0-1 guys with a similar opponent and putting those two guys in there together.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely, the 170 division is kind of plumping up as well. I really like where our 170 and our 185 division is right now. We'll talk about our 185s here now. We got into the main card, and business really picked up from here, guys. And I had a feeling it would. These are the fights that I really had kind of circled as, we're going to be really nice, fun fights. We started off at 185 pounds on the main card, MMA action. It was middleweights, and Jacob Adams versus Desmond Hall. Jacob Adams coming in at 1-0 with Josh Cate from Team Chaos there in Knoxville. He just fought the show right before and had a nice win over Cole Tucker. He got a good amount of cage time this time as Desmond Hall really pushed him for all three rounds. Desmond Hall making his officially sanctioned debut, but he was 5-0 in the Backwoods Brawl up there in Indiana, I believe it is. You can tell this guy's an athlete. I mean, he was put together, very strong, very, very tough, man. Like Desmond Hall gets with a proper team, then he certainly has all the tools in the world to be a contender for sure. Still showed some decent striking out there. He had some wrestling. I think he had a couple takedowns himself. Ultimately, though, Jacob Adams gets a unanimous decision, 30-27 on all the cards. And, this is one of those fights where it just seemed a lot closer than the scores, when we were there watching it. Jacob Hall moves to 2-0, and this kid is very solid. Former All-State linebacker at Oak Ridge High School. So he's an athlete. You can see he's an athlete, very quick, and he's got good skills. He seemed to show off more striking in this one. The last time he was more grapple heavy, and this time he really was showing off the striking. We'll go around the horn. We'll go to Justin first. This was a unanimous decision. All the judges had the same way, but man, Hall was live.
Yeah, man, it was a close fight for sure. The rounds were super close. Adams just did enough, was able to out grapple him, land enough strikes to get the win. But Desmond Hall made a good showing of himself for sure to be independent, making his debut. I was highly impressed. Jacob Adams, though, man, that kid's going to be a problem. He's, like you said, 2-0 now. The middleweight division is not the deepest, so he's a fight or two away from being right there at the top, and could be in a number one contender fight next. Who knows? So I look forward to seeing what that kid has to offer. Though, like I said, super athletic, super talented with a great gym, and looking forward to having Desmond Hall back as well.
Jeff.
Sorry, my mute button. Man, Jacob Adams, he came out last fight, got dropped quick, and that's about all the defense we've seen him on since then. I mean, he's a forward guy, and he gives a lot of credit to his coach at his gym, which he very well should. I think that's right now the difference maker between him and his opponents is the training and the coaching that he's getting right now. He's definitely got a lot of upside to him. Kind of disagree that this division isn't deep. I think it is getting there. I think we're starting to really stack up this weight class. A lot of good fights out there, man. And this kid has got a good head on his shoulders, man. Really understands the business so far, understands how the process works and what's going on. So I think he's got a lot of upside.
Torres, wrap us up here. There are some other 185s out there. We're about to talk about two more in our next five. But you got guys like your teammate Josh Booker, other guys in that 185 division that really have made for some interesting matchups potentially.
Yes, you're right, Tim. Man, yes, this 185 division is starting to really stack up, and Jacob Adams is one of those guys I'm big time fan of. Man, I'm a fan of him. I've been enjoying his fights, man. He had a big time takedown in this fight, and in between the rounds, he looked at that. So that was pretty cool. But man, I'm a big fan of Jacob, man. Jacob looks good, man. He looks solid, and plus it was a big time fight for him because this fight went the full distance. You saw that he can go all 3 rounds, and he's still there. He's still in your face. Props also to the guy he just went against. I'm sorry,
Desmond.
Desmond, yes, Desmond Hall, yes. Props to Desmond, man. And if he's listening to this, man, brother, please get into a gym. You have the talent, man. You have the potential. It is there. You have the intangibles. You just gotta harness those skills. If he gets in a gym, he'll be a really dangerous 185. And heck, that fight could be even that much closer. And potentially rematch. Just saying. If he gets in a gym, so I would love to see him get with a team and stuff like that. But man, that was a great fight between those two guys. And yes, Jacob Adams got a lot of upside, man. Props to him.
Desmond Hall is going to be a dangerous 0-1 coming in on someone. That's a guy that will be deceptive. I wouldn't mind seeing a fight with him and Andre Johnson. That would be two guys that would have that, kind of unharnessed athletic ability, if you know what I mean. Just like who knows how that would go. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Lose some money on it, but I'd make it just for spectacle, I think. Let's go on here to the next one. Another 185-pound fight, another middleweight fight. And, man, this is a war. This would, in my opinion, would garner Fight of the Night odds, awards, if you will. This was Corey Farmer taking on Zane Havener, both undefeated coming in. Corey Farmer, 2-0, independent fighter out of Murphy, North Carolina. We'd seen him a couple times coming off a win at Aries 1 last time out. Over Cameron Oliver, and then he took on Zane Havener 1-0 out of the Nice Guy submission fighting in Indiana, who he beat Tommy Waller his first time out. So both these guys had already been in there with some pretty decent competition, undefeated. I knew that it was going to be a fun fight. Man, it really delivered. This was back and forth. It was we had blood, we had takedowns, reversals, lots of good strikes, submission attempts. It had it all. Had a lot of drama, had a lot of fans there going nuts behind us. But it was Zane Havener that came out with a unanimous decision on all the cards. This is another fight that was much closer, it felt like, watching it than seeing, 30-27 across the board. But props to both guys, man. I think that we may have a little afterward. I think they may have made good, and not that there was ever any bad blood, but the coaches for Nice Guy, I think, extended an invitation out to Corey Farmer to join up with their crew, which would do him a lot of good, man. I had 5 coaches talk to me after that fight, being like, man, like, that guy doesn't train. Like, we get that guy with us, and we really do something with that guy. He at a 185, he's a hoss. He's tall, he's long, put together. He's obviously got some athletic ability. He can wrestle. It's just, I think, tying it all together is really what, he needs somebody to push him, training regularly, guys his size, and he could really be good. As for Zane Havener, moves to 2-0. And, the easy matchmaker makes me think about him and Jacob Adams. But there's other options out there too. We'll talk about the main event here a little bit later, but there's other guys probably making their way back down to 185, like we were just talking about. Torres, I'll let you lead here.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you something, dude. Yes, without a doubt, that was fight of the night. Man, that was one of those fights, man. I was like sitting there excited. Like the way the fight started off, I mean, they started off, going at it pretty good. I mean, the jabs, you saw, like, obviously, they're like, you can tell, okay, these are higher level amateurs. All right, this isn't like some of the amateurs you would see early. Right. These guys been training, they're ready, man. And the kickboxing of Corey is
sorry,
but yes, I will get this. Kickboxing of Corey Farmer is not bad for him to be independent. Now, I know that he used to go from gym to gym, but his stand-up did look pretty solid. I mean, those inside leg kicks, those outside leg, I mean, he was looking really solid. But now getting to Zane, you would think of Nice Guys, you think, oh, man, submission, the jiu-jitsu, which we did see, the grappling. But, I mean, when you you got 2 grapplers, and I always say this, you got a Corey Farmer, the wrestler, Zane Havener, the jiu-jitsu guy. You knew you was going to get a little stand-up. The edge goes to who has the better stand-up. And, man, we saw a lot of good things on the feet, man, but that jab of Zane was consistent. It was just right down the pipe. I mean, consistently. Then he started throwing a few 1-2s. I will say when Corey did take him down in that first and got on top, it was like, okay, this is that ground and pound was vicious from Corey. But then Zane came back in that second round, and man, just back and forth. And then that third round, oh my dude, I'm remembering now that Darcy had. I really thought it was over. I was like, Corey was about to like tap Zane. Who would have never
Oh, we lost your sound, Torres. I think we lost Torres' sound. I'm not sure. He knocked out.
We lost him altogether.
Altogether. He'll be back, I'm sure. He was excited about that one. Jeff, I'll go on to you.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Torres back. Hold on. We got Torres back. It's okay. We'll go back. Go ahead, Rob. Hey, we can hear you now. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? We hear you. Nope. And he's gone.
No, he's
back
gone.
to you, Jeff.
Yeah, should I try this again? He's back knocking on the door.
We'll see. We'll just see. Hey, Torres, can you hear us?
Nope. No.
I think he knocked into something. I think
he gets animated. He gets excited. Knocks his shit out. Man, this was a war, man. This was a great fight. Everything that we hoped and expected it to be. Like we were talking just a second ago, I mean, there were even times where we thought, holy shit, is Corey Farmer fixing to sub Zane Havener? You just didn't know what the hell was going on. You see stand up from Zane that you haven't seen before, and you're thinking, what the hell's going on? Then you see submission attempts from Corey Farmer, and you're thinking, what the hell's going on? You see people just straight muscling out and sweeping and transition out of stuff.
They're bleeding.
You've got blood, but you have also got both fan bases having to be pulled apart in the crowd. Shout out to White Chocolate for making the night interesting from Corey Farmer's crew. So yeah, we're Tim and myself are having to kind of get up and separate fan bases from each other, man. But they didn't go too far, and so they did it. They got just passionate enough to make it just really fun, and didn't take it too far. But so you just add that type of fight with that type of atmosphere, that type of crowd. It was just ridiculously fun fight, and I hope Corey Farmer takes somebody up, because, like you said, we had a lot of offers that night of open gyms opening their arms to him. So you hope to see that that he takes somebody up on it. But there's also something about just where he's from and that fan base. I hope he doesn't lose any of that if he steps away from his his hometown or his area. Yeah, his area. I hope those people would understand his reasoning for trying something new, and that he will still be there to represent them and support them as they support him if he does take that step to another gym.
Torres, we got you back now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear y'all. Yes.
All right. Yeah. When we lost you, you were just going into the third round.
Yeah, I was going into the third round, man. I ain't gonna lie. Somebody was calling, and plus I got so excited as well. The button went on. But yes, that fight, that type of excitement for me, man. It was one of those big time fights. That was really one of the best amateur fights I've seen. In a minute. I watch. I watch a lot of the regional shows which y'all put on. So that was one of those fights. That was back and forth, man. And like I said, that Darcy had, and Zane goes back, transition from the arm bar to the triangle. And, it was just a fun fight, man. But props to both of those guys. Easily fight of the night. They both got a big time potential, man. Congrats to Zane.
Justin, wrap us up here. You're one of the judges. Did you all the judges again were unanimous, no arguments here, but did you struggle with any of these rounds?
Yeah, for sure, man. There were some that were really close, and I felt like kind of, Zane just pulled it out, towards the end of the round. Like, you're going into the last 30 seconds of the round, and it's like dead even. So it's, whoever takes this next 30 seconds gets it. And, but it was a spectacular fight. I wasn't trying to shit on the 85-pound division. I just meant there's nobody sitting right at the top right now. With Torres stepping away, it's wide open.
Right.
It's not deep. It's just wide open at top. So you can be like a Zane Havener or Jacob Adams at 2-0, looking at a good fight, and that would make a hell of a number one contender fight to put on next. But yeah, man, both those fights were just insane. Like you said, the crowd was super into it. Those are the best ones, man, when, the crowd's going crazy. The guys are fighting 10 times harder because of it. No quitting either one of those guys, though. Tons of potential from both of them.
All right, moving on to our feature bout. 155-pound MMA number one contender fight for the Aries title, with the winner to move on to fight for the title in Chattanooga in April. You had Craig French from Agoge Combatives coming in at 2-1, taking on the 3-1 Daniel Gonzalez out of the North Georgia highest stand camp. And he's on a 3-fight heater. He came in with 3 wins in a row, submitted guys. And man, this is another bloody, hard fought battle. And Craig French, though, man, he looked great. Craig French gets the win in the third round by TKO after he drops Daniel a couple times. 48 seconds into the third round, a lot of toughness and resilience, durability shown from Daniel Gonzalez. Always dangerous, kind of fishing for those subs there when it went to the ground, but that jab of Craig French, we talked about the Zane Havener jab as well. The jab of Craig French was on point, and I made a comment to the coaches at Agoge. Craig just looked very relaxed out there, more relaxed than I've ever seen him. Like, he was just very flowy, I guess, for lack of a better word. He's just moving. His footwork was so good, and it seemed like Daniel was a little more tense, and that, I assume, will zap you a lot quicker in a fight when you're constantly kind of like tensed up like that. But He took a lot of punishment. There's a lot of punches landed by Craig, and Daniel really showed a lot of grit to hang in there as long as he did. I'm sure we'll see him back, but Craig moves to 3-1. He is now in line for that strap in April. Be very interesting who we come up with for that. Already got a couple messages from a couple guys. It would be some interesting fights for sure. So congrats to him. Agogi at this point moves on to 2-0. Justin, I haven't started with you yet, so we'll start with you on this one. I assume you had it 2-0 Craig going into that third.
Yeah, man, it was a pretty dominant performance by Craig. His boxing was pinpoint. He was piecing Gonzalez up, man. And most guys wouldn't have been able to hang as long as Gonzalez did. Most guys would have gotten put away, I think, and definitely by the second round. Gonzalez is tough as hell and never stops fighting. Keeps coming forward. But man, Craig French has got all the intangibles. He's got the heart. He's got the drive. Pushes. I don't think you can break him. And his striking is super clean. Man, I can't wait to see whoever he fights for the title. It's going to be a hell of a fight.
All right, we'll go to Torres.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're just speaking the same thing. We all were astonished by the jab of French. I mean, that jab, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was just consistently landing and like snapping the head back of Gonzalez. And I think we really thought Gonzalez was really going to try to get it to the ground. I thought that was going to be Gonzalez's main thing. It was a little bit of a shocker to see Gonzalez stay on the feet the entire time. He did attempt to go for some takedowns, but I think the time he did French down, I think he felt frisky in the grappling area and was, oh man, okay, this guy probably has a little bit better grappling than I expected. And probably wanted to keep it on the feet, thought that was his best opportunity to victory. And and taking away, I mean, Gonzalez is tough, but he landed some clean shots in there as well, man. But it was just consistently a Frenchie just staying on it, man. That jab, then the jab to the combination, then get Gonzalez back on the cage, still staying forward, that pressure. And then obviously in the third round, he drops with the jab. So props to Craig, man. And look, whoever he has to fight for the 155 title is going to be a tough fight on his hands, man. And Frenchie, I mean, we talk about guys having a first tough fight. If anybody ever remember well, not Battle of the Ground. What was that? Primal?
It was the first Primal Combat show. And I can't even remember the guy's name now, but he was really freaking good grappler.
Yeah. Purple belt. And that guy was good. And it was fight. I mean, Frenchie had beat that guy's face up, but he caught Frenchie in a triangle, man, and Frenchie really worked a lot more on his jiu-jitsu since then, so, I mean, that guy was good, so it's one of those things, man, and I feel like Craig French has really improved, and I'm excited to see him in the future.
Jeff, wrap us up on this one.
Yeah, I think the main thing, stood out for me for this fight, same thing you mentioned, was just his looseness. Craig French was just, all I can do to explain is he was feeling it. He was feeling it, man. He was, it's that zone that you see guys get in when everything's working. It's crazy. I spent a little while today watching this big, long Prince Nassim little video thing. And it's what it kind of reminded me of, just fluid, movement. Even Conor McGregor-ish as far as hands down, just being able to keep your hands down and pop them out, whenever you want. And that's what he was feeling, man. And I don't know, it was just in his groove, and there was nothing, nothing that could be done about it. It was just, I don't know. It was never really, I felt close. He was never in any danger, obviously, whatsoever. Still, his opponent's dangerous, and you got to be careful. But there was no denying him, it seemed. It was one of those nights where it was no denying Craig French.
And at 155, this is his debut at 155. He's been fighting 170. He's shredded to death. Just absolutely shredded.
There was zero water in his body.
No, yeah, he looked great. Co-main event, first title fight of the evening. We had a little bit of snafus leading into this one with the equipment, which I'll take all the blame for there. But we finally got it worked out. 160-pound Muay Thai title, our first ever Muay Thai title we've done. And man, we were excited for it and did it deliver. It was young Tyler Jones, who we spoke to on the show last week, moves to 5-0 with one draw to Justin Jamar. He defeats Taylor Roderick by second round knockout by just, surgically placed spinning heel kick to the body that just shut Taylor Roderick down. He had about a 1.5 second delayed reaction before he went down in obvious pain. Granted a very generous count from referee Caleb Miller, unable to answer that 10 or 30 count, whatever you would call it. But ultimately, it was Tyler Jones who, man, tell you what, first round, it was like shell shock almost because, I don't think he'd fought a guy before. He'd fought Muay Thai fights with his head and fought a guy that was like really a technically trained up Muay Thai fighter like Taylor Roderick with the knees, the elbows, really kind of getting the attention of Tyler in that first round. I would think Taylor probably won the first round, honestly. But second round, man, they told him something in the corner. Big Kiker must have whispered something in his ear because he seemed to get some confidence, really started letting go, landing heavy body shots, big uppercuts, that spinning kick multiple times. The second or third time he landed it was for good. And Roderick unable to answer the count. Tyler Jones is now undefeated still, and now our first champion in Muay Thai. Proud of the kid, man. He's gonna be a good one, and he's still probably not old enough to drink, if I had to guess. So props to him. I'd be interested to see who we get in there for him next. Taylor Roderick and his team, I'm sure they'll be back. They're just very talented, tough guys. He got caught on the button, to say the least. Jeff, I'll let you lead this time.
Yeah, first round, like you said, it looked like Tyler was just real, maybe tentative, trying to figure out how this, full rules thing,
right?
Really what was involved in it, and how it kind of differed from, what he had done in the past. And there's no denying that Rodriguez, he is full Muay Thai. And it's just a different style than what we've put in front of Tyler Jones in the past. And it took him a while to adjust. But, like you said, that second round came out and he kind of got his bearings and he realized it still ain't nothing more than a fight, for him. And that was actually his second very well-placed spinning back kick. Obviously, the second one was hit the button, but the other one was beautifully placed as well. And kind of made us all gasp as when it happened, because they are solid. You hear them. It's not even still that slap. You hear that thud, and man, there's just nothing like a delayed liver punch or a liver kick. You think your opponent has taken it, you step back a couple seconds, and the next thing you know, the fold over. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get up from one, though. So I knew when the count started, no matter how slow Caleb Miller's seconds are, if you want to get technical, Rodrigue had a standing 16 count. But all jokes aside, Caleb, you're gonna have to pick up that count a little bit. But you will never be able to argue that he did not give Rodrigue time to get up. But man, it's just one of those. There's nothing. We apologize for the miscommunication on equipment and things like that. I know it did get in his head, or his coach's head, a little bit. There was a little bit of frustration about it. Good thing is none of that had any effect on how this fight turned out, and because ultimately Tyler and his corner conceded to every wish that was made, and even Rodrigue's corner, they were great after the fight because they understood and knew there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do to prepare. There's nothing, when you get hit on the button, you just get hit on the button. Where do we go from here with Jones, though, man?
Yeah, that'll be I'm very very excited to see what we do next. I'm not sure is the answer. I'm gonna have to find somebody that's worthy to get in there to challenge for that title for sure.
We're definitely going to have to look at some of those, just straight up traditional gyms, man.
Yeah,
I think MMA guys who want to get in there, I just don't think that's where Tyler Jones, he's past that, man.
yeah,
I think he's proven he's past that. He's past staying active against MMA fighters who are just looking to stay busy. So
right.
you're gonna have to look at those Zach Fox type gyms, the Dorian Price and DJ Miller trained fighters. You're gonna have to start looking towards those guys. Chambori, maybe even.
Yeah.
There's like 3 gyms right there that maybe we can look into.
Torres,
Um,
you got hyped up for
look,
this one. I would encourage you to watch this fight.
I've
If
seen
anything,
the video.
just to listen to Torres's commentary.
Dude, look, I did get excited, man. Look, I've seen him do that spinning back kick twice, as y'all said. And boy, every time he does it, once it lands, you see they're there, and then like,
Oh,
it's incredible. I love it. And man, Tyler Jones, I mean, look, I'm gonna give props to him in this form of faction as well, to be able to sit there and stand there, go through all of that. Because as a fighter, when you get in that cage, man, all your emotions are going, your adrenaline is high, you're just ready to go. And then, you got a delay. Oh man, I gotta take off my shin guards.
yeah.
Oh man, off my gloves and put on my. That's just too much. That's too much stuff. There's too much touching and all that before I'm about to get ready to fight. Fighters don't like that. So for him to be able to go through all of that, be fine with it, still able to go in there and perform, I give him big time props for that, man. And Tyler, he's a beast, man. And Taylor Rodriguez, man, he came out there with a really good game plan. I haven't seen a lot of people do. A lot of people do like to try the outside of Tyler, but he like try to close the distance. A lot of clinching, a lot of knees to the body. I did not know elbows were legal. Before the fight, I didn't know there was gonna be elbows. But man, I mean, he adapted to that really fast. He's like, no problem. Like, look, I'm not scared of elbows. Bring it on. And it was funny. I heard his dad, Travis. He said, "You go and you mess him up. If he want elbows, you give it to him." And I was like, "Oh man." No. But man, that was incredible, man. Really great, really good fight, really good performance by Tyler Jones. And yes, I'll be excited to see Taylor Rodriguez back in there, man, and see him get some more Muay Thai competition. That was fun to watch.
Justin, wrap us up here.
Yeah, man, this is a spectacular fight. One of the things that Roderick, as you guys said, did well was using the tie clinch in the first round. That was why he won the first round, was his ability to control the tie clinch and land shots from there. But man, that kick from Tyler Jones it's one thing to just think, he spun around and kicked him in the stomach, but the technique and the precision of that shot was just miraculous. And to land it twice like that, he was so super close too, which adds that much more difficulty to it. You have to get your leg there at that distance is much more difficult than when you're, a foot, 2 feet farther out. But that kid's nasty, man. He's got another kind of mean in him, and he knows how to turn it on when he needs to, for sure. And his dad's, excellent inspiration for him in the corner. I think, he knows exactly what to say to get in his ass and pick it up. But I can't wait. I wish he would do some MMA too, just because there's a lot more competition. Get to see him fight more often. But I love watching that kid in the stand up though.
Main event, man. We closed on another good one, another dramatic one. Really, I mean, this one only went 2 rounds. We went 2 full rounds, but it seemed like just had a lot of action packed into the 2 rounds. For the vacant 205 title, or I guess the first ever Aries 205 amateur title, it was Zane Burton from Agogi Combatives completing the trifecta on the evening as he moves to 3-0 and makes his team 3-0 on the night at the same time with I guess what was ruled as a TKO. Tristan Scarborough was not able to answer the bell after the second round had concluded. So it was like 3 minutes into the second round because they never rang the bell to start the third round. But man, a lot of action here. Tristan Scarborough gave Zane lots of problems to solve in this one, man. I thought that I thought that Zane's striking looked really good and his wrestling looked really good. But Tristan had one moment in the second round where he got Zane's back, and I thought for sure that he had it and it was over. But Zane, he came through and he managed to reverse in the last few seconds of the second round. And I'm curious to know how Justin had that second round scored, because that one was very, very close, I thought. But he did drop Tristan though in the second round, which kind of even that up some, I guess. But a war. Tristan unable to continue. There was I don't know exactly if there was some I don't know. I'm gonna say this controversy at all, actually, but I guess there was some questions, I guess, afterward, if there was like a clash of some sort inadvertently that kind of put Tristan on wobbly whereabouts. He wasn't able to regain his bearings in time, but I did not see that live. Congrats to Zane Burton, man. Zane showing off the striking, showing off the wrestling, showing off the jiu-jitsu a little bit too. Well-rounded, moves to 3-0, and I'll be looking for him a suitable challenger for that 205 strap. We'll let Justin start us on this last fight here. I'm just curious where you had it on the scorecards before the finish.
Yeah, I think Tristan lost the first round. I think Zane was able to take the first round for sure. The second round was super close. Zane won the stand up. Tristan got the had the moment when he had his back and was trying to get the choke in, and then Zane got it reversed. I probably would have ended up scoring the second round for Zane as well, just because of that last minute escape combined with the early portion of the round. I heard when I was kind of sitting pretty close, and I heard Caleb Miller say that there was a headbutt of the round, the cut to come open. I couldn't see it from my vantage point either, but that's what they were saying, was that it was just a clash of, not a headbutt, but like just as they were transitioning through that position, they bumped heads, and it just happened to be around that bone, which cuts right open. It was unfortunate. I mean, there was absolutely nothing malicious about it. It was completely unintentional, but it just sucks that that was why he couldn't continue, I guess, because he was loopy from getting hit in the head with another head. But I would have loved to have seen the fight go longer. I'd love to see those guys rematch as pros one day. Zane Burton's a beast, man. At 205, it's going to be hard to compete with him. He's got great stand-up, and since he's been with Agogi, his ground game has been improving every time we've seen him. I think he's getting better, and to be able to fight out of the positions that he was able to fight out of and show the heart to keep fighting and keep pushing forward, that was huge. I think that was a big step up for Zane, and I think he proved a lot to a lot of people in that fight.
Torres.
Yeah, man, really proud of Zane, man. Talked to him today. Really proud of him. Definitely a lot of things we're going to improve on. But and also talked to Tristan after the fight. Texted him next day, and good works about him, man. He was like, man, he wish, he could have kept continuing, but like you said, he couldn't. He wasn't there after that headbutt. So, but man, I thought it was a good fight for what it was. For those 2 rounds. I mean, at first, that first combination from Tristan to start the fight, it was like, oh, okay. And then Zane's tried to, start to get himself together, combinations, got the takedown. Let me tell you something. The takedown, you got 400 pounds, over 400 pounds coming full speed over there right in front of the commentary table. It literally like bends the whole cage back. And then it
Don't tell me these things.
Right. So, what the world? My goodness. So they break the monitor and bend the cage. But man, Zane, pound to pound for Zane was good early on. And I was like, oh, okay. You thought for a second, could Zane get this finish early? But Tristan kept moving. But in that second round, it made me wonder, man, when Zane was on top and then boom, out of nowhere, I think that was that last exertion that Tristan had.
Yeah.
And then he got back on his back, and I thought, oh my goodness, Tristan about to pull it out. And then he had the rear naked choke, then he got the rear naked choke to his back. But man, that was a really good fight, man. It was just a really good fight overall. Really feel bad, the headbutt occurred. Really wish, Tristan was able to continue to fight. You never know what happened in that third round. So, especially after what we just saw in the second. Big time props, but man, yeah. a lot of good 205ers left, and I feel like Zane is constantly better. He's gonna be prepared for all of them.
Yeah, I thought that Zane showed showed heart this time. He hadn't had any real adversity just yet, in his fights where he was put in a spot like, oh shit, like maybe he's going to get finished here, and he battled out of it, which I thought was the best thing he took from this one. Jeff, wrap us up, man. Final take of the night, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything it was supposed to be. It was exactly what you want your main event to be. Both guys had a pretty big contingency of fans there, so it just continued this run of 6, fan-filled, exciting fights. I think more than anything, you saw a lot of growth with Zane. You've seen improvement, each time out, and a little facet that you didn't see the previous time out. So he's adding little wrinkles. Zane's a character. He's a cut up. He's a Fruit Loop. But there's no denying that there's a very serious side to Zane also when it comes to, this fight thing. There's just still so much room to grow for him. So it's scary how much better he can still get. But there are guys out there, there are guys out there that we could put together some really, fun, exciting, dangerous for both fighter type fights. I got a call the other day, or had a phone conversation the other day that come summertime, what's his name? Finn Martin, that fought at heavyweight in Nashville, at 205. He says he's going to be ready to come back when he comes back from his Army Ranger or whatever it is he does, that he'll have lost enough weight doing that he'll be 205 when he comes back, and he wants to
he'll be fired.
Yeah, he wants to jump in and get active. So man, holy shit, there's some stuff out there.
No doubt. That's Aries 4, guys. It's in the books. We're closing the books on it. We will now that we're getting through a few events, we're starting to get some more data. So we're starting probably by the summer, we'll be ready to start releasing some rankings, I think, on a lot of these divisions, which will make things a lot more interesting. It's on to Macon, guys. We've got 2 weeks, and our man Torres is going to make his pro debut. I can't wait. Fight night in Macon, Georgia, co-promotion with us and the NFC and Conflict. Also on that card, Greg Hopkins, we've added to the lineup. He'll be taking on Warren Smith. So we got some representation down there. I'm really stoked for it. And next week, it's what it's going to be all about. I guess not next week, this week. Tune back in, I guess probably Thursday or so. We'll have it ready to go for you guys. But we're going to be talking all about Macon Fight Night. We're going to try to get some of the other promoters on here as well to kind of hash things out. And then next week will be our breakdown. We should have odds on these bad boys by then. So we hope to have Cody Saptic join us next week to break down those pro fights. Man, looking forward to it, guys. Thanks for joining us out there and sitting in on our recap. Once again, you can catch the replay at combatcast.tv, or just stay tuned right here to the channel, and we're going to be putting those videos as well as Aries 3's videos up all this week. So make sure you subscribe, give us a like. For Justin Watson, Jeff Hobbs, the champ, Torres Finney, I'm Tim Lloyd, signing out for another edition of The 0 Hour. Check y'all next time.